Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. More Birthright here as we continue to work our way through the various Anshe of the setting here with the Blood Enemies expansion. So today we got another interesting one in the sense that we have a Anshe here that again controls an actual domain. So we are looking at the Lamia, which we'll fully get into, figure out what the creature is, a little bit of the background story, and the actual domain where it resides as well. So, as always, most of these entries take the form of an actual interview with said creature. So, I'm insulted that you must journey this far to compel me to answer your questions. I thought my accomplishments would have preceded me. I guess the destitute, the witless, and the illiterate would not know me, for how could they? My intellect, my beauty, and my magnificence far exceed the paltry awareness of the plebeian. 5 centuries ago, my parents were born poor in eastern Moreed, and they spent their lives selling trinkets, small totems, and fetishes to survive. They made the items in their tenement above the store, but they told the customers that the items were authentic ancient items of jewelry. This scheme continued until my 15th year, when they made the mistake of inviting a customer for an early evening dinner. When he saw the workshop, he told other customers. In their rage, they broke in and stole everything of value. My parents tried to stop them, but one of the men rewarded my father and mother both with a knife in their stomachs. They burned my home and my parents' bodies, and I was left a destitute urchin, destined for a hard life in the streets. At that moment, I vowed vengeance. Later that year, after locating all the murderers, I set out late one night and took a torch to the homes of the people responsible for my parents' horrid deaths. Only one person escaped from those fires. He was badly burned, but I remembered his face well. He was the one who put the knife into my father's belly and struck down my mother. I made sure I returned the favor that night. I joined a traveling carnival, and spent my time as a vulgar sideshow attraction. Many believed that I was as vulgar as my act, but I sought to improve my lot. Every coin that job gave me was spent on learning. An old magician taught me to read, write, manage money, and wield a dagger. I left the carnival a few years later, after a quick profit scheme soured, and the authorities tried to imprison us all for swindling a bunch of greedy fools. We ended up as criminals with a 2,000 gold piece bounty on our heads. Lauren, my paramour, and I left Moreed and headed east through the Iron Peaks. Shortly after we left the mountains, we came across the scene of a great battle. Cadavers stretched the ground, and the stench of carrion blood attracted carrion feeders. Lauren and I searched the bodies for any coin they would no longer need, but I found a corpse that still lived, though barely so. In his delirium, he attacked me and almost buried his blade in me. I fought and killed him with my dagger. As the last breath left his mouth, I felt an incredible charge of energy flow from him and invade my mouth and nostrils. His blood burned my skin, and the energy washed over me, sending horrible sensations all through my body. I think I passed out, but I awakened later, cared for by Lauren. As we kept moving across the Kanasi lands, heading east, I began to notice changes in my body. I was becoming swifter than Lauren by far, and my feet had become padded like a lion's feet. When we were later beset by a trio of gnolls, a rage in me fueled my savage counterattack. During the battle, my leathers stretched and burst as my lower body became that of a mighty lioness. With my new claws, I shredded 2 of the gnolls as Lauren claimed the third. After the battle, I saw that I maintained my beautiful self only from the waist up. Lauren, horrified by the changes, fled from me, and I have not seen the boy in more than 500 years. Obviously dead. I accepted my fate and kept moving onward, and I finally came to Besayem, a principality south of Kumbane. Seeking naught but solitude, I settled in an isolated forest, but my troubles were not quite over. When the ruler discovered my existence, his sentinels arrested me and took me to him. He wished to prove his power to his courtiers and challenged me, a mortal, divinely maimed by the evil blood of Azrai, to battle. As I am here with you, I obviously was triumphant. I absorbed more strange energy from the foolish king's death, but this was different. I felt now that I belonged here. The land was part of me, and with his death, I slid neatly into the vacant throne. The name of the country soon changed to my newly received alias, the Lamia. I've ruled my domain for over 500 years, and none can say that I've not done well. So, now that we've got that sort of background covered, an interesting story too, we see a lot of times that a lot of these people aren't necessarily like outright evil to begin with, but once they come into contact with that blood of Azrai, it really just changes them for the worse, and that should be something potent to consider in the campaign too. Just the sheer power that these divine lines can have on people, good or bad. So the Lamia was once a proud and beautiful human woman named Keta Pechaya, an exotic dancer who used her wiles and beauty to rob male customers charmed by her sensuality. Her greed and lust for power grew stronger with each suitor. Soon she was under suspicion of fraud along with her accomplice Lauren. They fled east, encountering a dying man on a field of battle whose blood taint was transferred to his murderer, Keta. Her abilities quickly manifested, and she later slew the last ruler of Besayam, absorbing his birthright and his regency, claiming the land itself as her prize. She now uses her domain to fund vainglorious monuments and trappings of her rule, for no one is more important than the Lamia herself, of course. So she's got some pretty interesting stats as well. Intelligence of 14, mainly active during the day, omnivore, lawful evil, so that's something to consider, so not on the chaotic side of things. Very fast, 4.5 feet tall, 7 feet long. Armor class of 3, but again, the old system under second ed, so really I'd give her like a 17 or 18. 63 hit points, considered a level 9 fighter. As far as saves go, Thaco doesn't exist anymore, but attacks, and you can kind of customize a little bit there, but D6 with the hand talons, or by a weapon, D4 times 2 for the front claws. And again, you can play that up a little bit, but also with probably some solid strength modifiers there. Special attacks as well, she has those. Charm as a gaze and wisdom drain. No special defenses, but comes with a built-in 30% magic resistance, so that's pretty potent. Morale of 14, pretty solid bloodline here of Azrai, so 38. And again, several potent abilities here too. Again, we've done separate videos on all these, but she has Blood Form, Charm Aura as a great ability, and Blood Form is great too. Divine Aura, Major and Long Life, obviously living 500 years plus. Great ability, and Persuasion, Major. So she's got a lot of that going too. And if we're fighting with XP or using XP rather than Milestone, considered 8,000 XP for taking her out. So when she is first encountered, all male viewers must roll a saving throw versus spells. Females automatically save. So a fun little thing to throw there at a party, especially if you have female and male characters at the table. If successful, the victim is horrified by the Lamia's appearance. The victim is charmed as per the spell. If the spell fails, if the save fails. While charmed, the victims have total devotion to her and see her as a perfect woman, and they will protect her from enemies to the best of their abilities. She can use her charm ability with a glance whenever she chooses, so like infinitely, essentially, right? To reinforce this ability, the Lamia's touch permanently drains wisdom from a victim with each touch. When a victim's wisdom drops below 6, that person obeys her indefinitely and basically sees her as, again, like the perfect woman. So, and this is how she basically keeps her lieutenants under her control, right? They literally can't act against her. Just makes her frightening, right? She's not necessarily like, again, some crazy combat monster like the Gorgon or something like that. But, again, with a glance, she's going to just realistically keep charming you. So almost like fighting a Medusa or something in that sense, right? But here you're going to be charmed as opposed to turned to stone. And then just the fact that, hey, we can do this wisdom drain to essentially create puppets that follow her unquestionably as well is pretty scary, considering, again, that those things are permanent. So the only limitation to her immediate powers is her inability to charm women. So something that a party might have to learn the hard way, and actually maybe have some women present if they don't already. But smart characters could probably figure that out if it's a mixed party as well. While her other blood abilities can affect females in her presence, these abilities are not nearly as reliable as her enthralling powers. In fact, she can't abide the sight of another pretty woman within her castle at Craven Gate, as it reminds her of her lost human beauty. Her left hand is slightly different from her right. Her left fingernails have become black talons that extend when she is angry, like a cat's claws. Stronger than bronze, the hand talons can score a metal shield and certainly shred weaker armor, dealing d6 points of damage to her target. So the realm itself, and again, we've covered that, I think, already. If not, we certainly will be at some point. So the Lamia's domain, It's not obviously not available for PC use. The realm itself has an alignment of chaotic evil. The majority of the holdings in the domain fall under her control, as her charm puppets are in positions of power and control, while she takes a direct interest in trade with the Grodny Koster of Kozlovny. She leaves much of her other governing to her underlings. So the domain itself, more so on the less settled side, but we have a 3 there, a couple of 3s actually, some 2s, and then some 1s. Obviously, she controls all the law, and then we can see the guilds and temple and source situation there. So, for an on-chase domain here, and one that's not necessarily like a major threat in the sense of like the Gorgon or the Raven or something like that, but huge amount of regency built up, 36 generated, 60 accumulated, a lot of gold too, 24 generated, accumulated 12 bars, that's huge. The army consists of hundreds of charmed and fanatic warriors, led by her chief lieutenant, the gigantic boss warrior priest Pyotr Borochevsky. However, most enthralled forces are used strictly in the defense of the castle. Most invasion forces of Lamia, so again, if you're playing this as a political domain and you're actually invading, are basically mercenary troops from the Iron Hand tribes. So, but certainly she could actually wade into battle as well, work on charming some of her opposition, and really just cause chaos in an opposing army as well. And if someone were to, I guess, foolishly enough, think that they can parlay with her and have like maybe like a diplomatic meeting of some sort before a battle commences or something like that, it's like, hey, we're just going to charm the leadership of the opposing army and sort of disintegrate the threat in that sense too. So, as we saw, the most important lieutenant is Pyotr Borchevsky, who serves as the captain of her personal guard. He's a withered old Kanasi man, although with the name sounds like really a boss. Or actually, no, sorry, separate here. So a withered old Kanasi man named Jamal El Namir acts as her major domo and watches over the day-to-day businesses of the government. She also has the wizard and stargazer Dashid, the astronomer, ready to use his potent arsenal of spells as she commands. So again, she's got a whole sort of repertoire here of charmed underlings. We've got a pretty good military fighter. We've got basically a good person to run her sort of official day-to-day business. Then she also has a potent wizard on tap as well. So the domain itself, though, settled 600 years ago by Kanasi pioneers from Medici, Besayam, soon fell under the control of the Lamia. The domain consists of deep, twisted forests and rugged mountains. The eastern quarter opens to hilly pasture that's often roamed by bands of the Iron Hand tribes. The two adjoining domains don't fight over this land. It absolutely belongs to the Lamia, but its use allows the Iron Hand tribes access to attack the frontier of Ruanak freely, and the Lamia likes Ruanak to stay busy and away from her domain borders. The Lamia is more concerned with personal wealth and power than the kingdom she rules, so her taxes are ruinous, and she often resorts to extortion and terrorism in her quest for money to create her latest personal vanities, whether they're public buildings or murals, or her new trappings of unimaginable expense. The common people have known the Lamia only by way of rumors and stories. The charmed nobles and leaders insist that the rumors are lies and that nothing's wrong. Yeah, everything's fine. We'll be fine. At least the Lamia doesn't ravage the countryside, and this is a major factor in the people's willingness to live under her rule. So the capital is Craven Gate, as we've mentioned. There's a couple of cities, Motair and North Martin. Some villages, Comandel, or Coromandel, Kanira, Ruanpuk, and South Martin. Trade goods, she does export some lumber to a few of the Iron Hand tribes, but she's competing with Mindusai and Kumbane and losing heavily. She also sells the powdered horns of a near-extinct breed of deer to alchemists and spellcasters, who use the powder for divination, potions, and spells, so that could be an interesting maybe quest there, is just to go after a rare component there, but wandering into her realm would have, severe dangers. This breed of deer was once found throughout the forest, but she sent hunters into nearby domains to exterminate their numbers in order to make them rare and get them under her control. Also exported is iron ore and gold from the hills south of North Martin. The domain imports grain, weapons, and mining equipment as a result. And then finally, allies. So she maintains a close alliance with the Iron Hand tribes. allowing them free access to her eastern highlands as long as her citizens are not plundered. This access ensures continued raids from the Iron Hands against Ruinach. While Ruinach forces are busy fending off plundering Iron Hand tribes, they're not harassing the Lamia herself. Now, she does have a rather mysterious ally in the Raven, which we'll get to in not too many more entries. They've met regularly over the past few years, and a rumor of the two being romantically involved has crept up in the Raven's domain. The two have a vocal non-aggression pact and share a common hatred of Cumbain. It's believed they'll soon move against the country that separates the two with a desire to divide the land between them. And again, we've covered that a little bit in that domain's entry. Now, a special condition here, in the forests of the domain, there's a clearing with a low hill. From that hill grow shards of crystal and metal. None know why, but they are highly magical and tightly guarded by tribes of brownies and centaurs, which, again, a lot of those creatures we don't really hear about or see as much of in Birthright, but that just makes it all the more rare, but really a potential, if not very dangerous, quest just to go there and see what that's about, maybe even acquire some crystal. Hopefully some can be gotten without antagonizing the brownies and the centaurs, but yeah, so that's an interesting quest that could be had there. But again, just with the danger that she presents, probably wouldn't be a smart move for low-level parties to try and brave her domain. It's certainly possible to get easily charmed if she does show up in person, but it's just an interesting Anshe here. So one that's not necessarily overly concerned with conquering other territories, although, as we mentioned, maybe taking care of their elf neighbors there. But yeah, just a sort of a subtle danger here. So certainly formidable in hand-to-hand and all that. But it's really those special abilities of charm and sort of like draining of willpower that do make her pretty formidable and really kind of keeps people in her employ, so to speak, and also, you know, creates really a whole force of people that are fanatically devoted, which makes them even more dangerous than just regular people would be, right? So now, certainly a thorn in the side of a lot of other neighboring domains. So should, depending on, you know, if we're playing at the domain level, might be a major quest just to see if, you know, we can rid the world of one of these Anshe, and certainly she'd be easier to deal with than trying to fight the Raven. And I'm sure there would be support from others to see her gone. But again, you do have the Iron Hand tribes as well, which are her nominal allies. So a fun one, if not very challenging, though, for any party, really, especially if it's mainly male party members. Female party members will be unaffected and they could fight her normally. But again, just that risk of being charmed and then drained of willpower permanently is very, very frightening. And, you know, without necessarily knowing that going in, because again, her underlings have done a good job of convincing the populace that she doesn't really exist, and that's just, you know, a scary rumor and bedtime story. But you know, rumors from elsewhere would indicate that she is a real monster. But you know, as with some of these Anshe, you gotta kind of go there and find and quest, and maybe just have that actual in-person encounter to, you know, verify, like, oh no, this is a very real threat, if we could survive it, but a very dangerous one potentially as well. Before we end the video, we wanted to show too, we've showed it in a post separately, but they did make an official mini for her. Obviously going to be a little bit underscaled now compared to more modern minis, but really cool, super detailed. You can kind of see that from the artwork as well. So they've done a really good job there. We'll get her painted up at some point. But yeah, really cool to have that, and again, actually even feature her in a campaign at some point. So let us know, guys, if you've played in the Lamia's domain, if you've actually taken her on, how that's gone for you. Hit us up in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe. Again, if you want to see Birthright videos early and other D&D content, hit us up on our Patreon. Support matters for sure. Helps the channel out. And you'll get to see, again, videos like this early and other things that are exclusive to the Patreon before they hit up the YouTube channel. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.